Hello and welcome to In Focus. The government will infuse rupees 4,400 crore in Export Credit Guarantee Corporation, and the entity will also be listed through an initial public offer. The Union Cabinet cleared the proposal on Wednesday to this effect, and Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal said that ECGC's listing may take place next year, and out of the total rupees 4,400 crore, an amount of rupees 500 crore will be provided to the company on immediate basis. He informed while elaborating on fund infusion in the state-owned entity. ECGC is governed by the Commerce Ministry and it provides export credit insurance support to the exporters, and fund infusion in ECGC will help the entity to spread its coverage, especially towards labor-intensive sectors. We'll talk all of that in the next 1 hour, and the rationale behind infusion of 1,650 crores into National Exporters Insurance account and how will this help the exporters. Industry experts will also be joining us. We'll ask them what more support do they expect from the government. We have seen several relief measures also in the last few days, for the few months I should say, for the exporters being announced for them. The idea of course is to give them the much needed relief as we are coming out of the COVID-19 period. Export has been the thrust area of this government. An eminent panel, like we said, of guests will also be joining us. We'll have a detailed discussion on that. Let's get it started. So, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said the Cabinet has decided to give the Export Credit Guarantee Corporation rupees 4,400 crore as capital, which will enable it to provide insurance policies worth rupees 88,000 crore. Listen.
इंश्योरेंस की सुविधा सरकार की एक कंपनी ईसीजीसी देती है। उसमें जो भी सामान एक्सपोर्ट होता है, गुड्स एक्सपोर्ट होता है, या जो पैकिंग क्रेडिट लिमिट्स बैंक्स देते हैं उत्पादन के समय उद्योग को, या प्रोजेक्ट फाइनेंस होता है उसके सामने भी पॉलिसीज इशू करते हैं, उस सब के लिए ईसीजीसी एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण रोल प्ले कर रही है। उसको आज 4,400 करोड़ रुपए एडिशनल कैपिटल इन्फ्यूजन करने का, अधिक मात्रा में उनको कैपिटल देने का निर्णय कैबिनेट ने आज प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में लिया। ये 4,400 करोड़ रुपए डालने से लगभग 88,000 करोड़, तो 20 गुना उसके ऊपर हम कवर दे सकते हैं। 88,000 करोड़ की और इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसीज ECGC लिख पाएगा।
Right, he also said that 97% of ECGC beneficiaries are micro, small and medium enterprises.
ECGC की अगर हम गहराई से देखें तो आज के 97% जो लाभकारी उद्योग हैं, जो लोग पॉलिसीज निकालते हैं, वो MSME सेक्टर से। 97% ऑफ द पॉलिसी होल्डर्स आर फ्रॉम द MSME सेक्टर। तो सीधा ये जो लाभ है ये MSME को मिलेगा अधिकांश रूप में, और हमारे छोटे उद्योग, लघु उद्योग, सूक्ष्म उद्योग, इन सबको और ज्यादा बड़े पैमाने पे एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए इसका लाभ मिलेगा।
And the minister said the capital infusion, which will be done in phases over 5 years, starting with rupees 500 crore each, to be released this year and next year, will improve ECGC's solvency.
हम इसके लिस्टिंग का प्रोसेस स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में ECGC को लिस्टिंग का प्रोसेस भी शुरू करेंगे। फिर आगे चल के लिस्टिंग होने के बाद अगर एक्सपोर्ट का यही तेजी रही जिस तेजी से आज के दिन हम बढ़ रहे हैं, तो आगे चल के स्टॉक मार्केट से भी इसका सही अनुमानित कीमत हो जाएगी, मार्केट इसको वैल्यू करेगी और हम और फंड्स रेज कर पाएंगे।
And the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approved a contribution of rupees 1,650 as grant in aid to the National Export Insurance account, which provides cover for project exports over 5 years. And the Commerce Ministry estimated that this will create 2.6 lakh jobs and help move 12,000 workers into the formal sector.
NEIA ट्रस्ट एक जो प्रोजेक्ट एक्सपोर्ट होते हैं, प्रोजेक्ट एक्सपोर्ट्स को फाइनेंस करने का ट्रस्ट है। उसको प्रोजेक्ट एक्सपोर्ट्स के ऊपर इंश्योरेंस देने का ये ट्रस्ट है। और नेशनल एक्सपोर्ट इंश्योरेंस अकाउंट इस नाम से एक स्कीम चलती है जिसमें 1650 करोड़ रुपए अधिक कैपिटल इन्फ्यूजन का निर्णय आज कैबिनेट ने लिया।
And apart from pushing exports, these decisions will also create nearly 62 lakh more jobs, and also said that we are right on track of achieving our target.
पिछले हफ्ते 21 सितंबर तक अगर हम आंकड़े देखें तो देश से 185 बिलियन डॉलर का एक्सपोर्ट हो चुका है और ये भारत के इतिहास में सबसे ज्यादा एक्सपोर्ट पहले 6 महीने के अंदर आज तक हुआ है।
And the minister also said that these initiatives will help India achieve the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat and in turn help in economic growth. Listen.
किसानी क्षेत्र से जुड़े हुए एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोड्यूस एक्सपोर्ट होते हैं, हमारे टेक्सटाइल एक्सपोर्ट होते हैं, हैंडीक्राफ्ट्स, हैंडलूम, खादी, लेदर प्रोडक्ट्स, ये सब एमएसएमई सेक्टर, छोटे उद्योग के साथ जुड़े हुई चीजें या किसानों के साथ जुड़ी हुई चीजें जब अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार में बड़े रूप में जाएंगी तो भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था भी मजबूत होगी। भारत को भी जो तेज गति से प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी मेहनत कर रहे हैं कि इसको जल्द से जल्द तेज गति दे अर्थव्यवस्था को, उसमें देश सफल होगा, उसमें निर्यात का एक बड़ा योगदान रहेगा।
Right, and also the industry has lauded the decision of the government for boosting export, and the move will create over 6 million jobs in MSME sectors. Listen.
Cabinet decision on promoting exports is a welcome move. The outlay of 6,000 crores towards entities providing insurance cover is expected to yield incremental exports of over 5.6 lakh crores in the next 5 years. These decisions will create over 6 million new jobs in the MSME sector. This augmented by the production-linked incentive schemes which the government has done with over 2 lakh crores over the last 12 to 15 months, over 15 key sectors will create national manufacturing champions and generate employment opportunities.
Right, and the guests have also joined in for the detailed discussion on this. Dr. Amya Chandra is with us, who is Additional Director General of Foreign Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Welcome, sir. We also have Mr. M. Senthilnathan, Chairman cum Managing Director, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India Limited. Welcome, sir. And we also have Mr. S.K. Saraf, Chairman, Technocraft Industries Limited, and immediate past President of FIEO. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to our special show in focus. First of all, Dr. Amya Chandra, if I can come to you first. So, government approved additional capital infusion of rupees 4,400 crore in ECGC, and with this, ECGC will be able to provide an insurance policy worth rupees 88,000 crore. Can you elaborate that in detail for the benefit of our viewers? What does this actually mean?
This cabinet decision, I would better leave it to my colleague who is from ECGC and let him elaborate on this point. I would be taking the more questions on export related issues.
Okay, Mr. M. Senthilnathan, you want to take that question?
Yeah, this ECGC has been established in 1957 to promote exports through credit insurance covers. In the year, the company has introduced various products to promote exports. In the year 2009, the government of India authorized the company to issue covers up to 1 lakh crores. And in terms of RBI guidelines and various prudential measures, the risk to capital ratio for ECGC, the government said try to maintain at 20 times. So for 1 lakh crore covers, we needed to have 5,000 crore net worth, which was supported by government in 2018 with the infusion of capital of 2,000 crores. And we right now in the year financial year 2020-21, the cover that we issued cumulatively stands at 1,02,000 crores. There was a need to expand our capacity so that we can serve the aspirations of the country in enhancing its exports, merchandise exports from around $300 billion to $600 billion and more in the next 4 to 5 years. So the capacity needed to be doubled or in case tripled. So we did ask the additional support in terms of capital from the government. despite the resource crunch, government has been kind enough to support us with the 4,400 crore infusion of capital. In terms of leverage, we will be able to issue 88,000 crores worth of credit insurance covers to exporters and banks, thereby facilitating exports. There are many sectors which has got credit insurance intensity which fosters their export intensity, like for example textiles, leather goods, exports by engineering goods and chemicals and pharmaceuticals. So these mainly export from these sectors will see higher support from ECGC, and to new and emerging markets, which may be challenging in terms of risk management, but this is where the opportunity lies. So with this boost from government, we will be able to expand our services to the export industry and also grow with the exports and also help them to grow.
Okay. Mr. Saraf, your reaction to this, what category of exporters you think will be benefited by this, and how do you think this will help the Indian export industry?
The major beneficiaries of this infusion of capital in ECGC are going to be the MSME sector.
Okay.
In the MSME sector, the risk perception is much higher because their customer base is quite narrow, and the customer relationship is also not as well established as in case of large exporters. So MSME sector definitely needs comfort level, and with this infusion of capital, ECGC would become more flexible. Already I have seen in last 10 years, the ECGC has evolved into a very flexible, it's like almost like a departmental store of trade insurance. There are schemes, there are so many different types of schemes. Whatever you want, whatever way you want, ECGC is able to do it. But then there was a limitation of the capital. Now this, as the minister also said, they will be able to cover almost another 88,000 crore of exports, which is a significant, sizable amount of exports that ECGC will cover. The most important issue is this step has come at a very right time. At the time of pandemic, all exporters are worried about the safety of their funds. And you never know about the buyer, even though you may have a long-term relationship with the buyer, but situation is evolving, situation is changing, and the economy is very fluid. So this is a time when every exporter needs a level of comfort. So this will certainly boost immensely. Secondly, the project exports have been given a very special treatment. They have been given 33,000 crore rupees of incentive for the project export, as well as the NEIA trust has been revamped, has been strengthened by infusion of 1,650 crore rupees. So I think overall, the morale of exporters, particularly in MSME sector, is going to be very bullish. It will give a big boost to the export from this sector. Several orders which we were letting go because we were not getting credit will now get covered into this. So I personally feel that we can expect at least 10% increase in the export in the coming years. Now this year we make, as the minister said, we have done about close to $200 billion in the first half. Second half is generally better than the first half. Therefore, we will probably achieve, or we will shortly achieve the target of $400 billion, which is a record-breaking, historically record-breaking achievement by Indian exporters. So, if 10% is increased, you may go up to $450 billion in the next year, and then achieving the target of $1 trillion, which the government has set, it doesn't seem to be far-fetched or difficult to achieve. We may be able to do that with this kind of incentive and support available from the government.
Right. It has come at a right time. That's what you are saying, Dr. Amya Chandra. Timely initiative, you think, and it has come at a right time when the liquidity is a challenge for the export sector?
Yes, that is right. In fact, in his speech on 6th August 2021, the Honorable Prime Minister had stated that we need to go more countries and cover more products. So we were planning at the ministry level to go into 75 more countries and 75 more new products. The biggest problem, as has been pointed out by my colleague, in going to the new market and with the new product is whether it will be acceptable or not, or whether they would be able to get back their remittances. Now, ECGC, with its trust which is given by the government, is giving a leverage to many MSME sector exporters to experiment with these new markets. I'll give you just one example. Now, in United States of America, we saw that we are leading in honey in 2 markets. In fact, we are leading out of 22 markets, we are leading in 2 states of the United States of America. And there was a demand for a biscuit honey. Now, we told the exporters to start the MSME sector that you start making this kind of honey which is demand in the US market, and we are willing to cover you up with the ECGC cover. I can give you many examples when they go to the Latin American markets or the markets which are supposed to be little volatile, or the new exporter who are little hesitant to take risk in going to the new market or the far-flung market of Latin America or Africa or some of the markets of the Middle East. The ECGC is giving the comfort for going to the market by doing an insurance of their product and of the market. So the government has given its intent very clearly that you can go also in the newer market with the newer product, and we are willing to back you up with the policy and the provisions so that you can be rest assured of your export proceeds.
Right, valid point made by you, sir. Mr. M. Senthilnathan, if I can come to you once again, the government has said that it will go for a listing of ECGC next fiscal, and the process will also will begin soon. My question to you is, how much money is the government looking to raise through this process?
Whether the government will disinvest part of its shareholding now, or will decide to retain that and then allow the public to participate in the new issue, I think that details we are still awaiting. But the initial information that I got is at least 10% of shares can be listed in the stock exchange. Right now, our share capital is 3,450 crores. So, with the infusion expected from government, 500 crore this year and next 500 crore in the next year, 4,500 crore. And maybe if it is a disinvestment, it will be around 1,100 crore, will be 20%. Maybe government will initially look to list shares of around 10 to 15%. So that means that around 600 to 700 crores face value of shares will be listed in the stock exchange.
Absolutely, we'll come to that again, but we'll have to hold for a very short break. On the other side, we'll continue our discussion on this. Stay tuned on DD India.
As the day unfolds and news and events take shape, we get you complete coverage of every news breaking in, tracking new developments as they happen. Midday Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. on DD India.
Welcome back. So, government has cleared ECGC and NEIA, and it's a major government thrust to export. It's a big boost to export sector. Question for the exporters. Eminent panel of guests is with us. We have Dr. Amya Chandra, Mr. M. Senthilnathan, and we also have Mr. S.K. Saraf. Mr. Saraf, if I can come to you once again, it can't be a better time when India can be the reliable, robust and risk-free partner to major economies, like the minister also said, and India, you think, is well poised to take the place of its competitors, and maybe the biggest is China?
Absolutely. And this is very visible from the export growth that we have seen. We did about $290 billion export in FY20, while in 21 we have done over nearly $320 billion. So, we have done about $310 billion. So now you will see this year we will do about $400 billion. So the way the export growth is taking place in the country now, it clearly shows the trust that the buyers in Europe and USA are reposing on Indian exporters as stable suppliers, as a regular suppliers. And we got this great opportunity because of this unfavorable sentiment against China. Now we have this serious power cut problem in China. Our main competitor is China at the moment. And if because of several reasons that has happened in the last 12 months that we saw, our exporters got a very big opportunity, which we have grabbed. I'm very happy to say that we have grabbed the opportunity and we are working hard. I wish the travel by exporters is also opened up very soon after, because of this pandemic. Exporters were not able to travel. So services export suffered a bit, and we probably would have done much better if we were able to travel, meet the customer across the table, and probably would have got a lot more orders. So, you know, this has come at a very right time. Second, exporters had a problem of liquidity. Now with this extended coverage by ECGC, the bank finance will also become conveniently available. At the bank insists that you have your credit risk covered before they sanction the post-shipment credit. So now the post-shipment credit will be easily available to the exporters. To that extent, the liquidity will improve. So, you know, overall, we are going to have a cascading effect of this 4,400 crore that the government has infused in ECGC. Will have a major cascading effect, and it have been at a better time.
Dr. Amya Chandra, your reaction to this? You're on mute, I think.
Yeah, I would like to come on this from the policy perspective. The first part, as has been rightly pointed out by my colleagues, is through policy intervention. Now in 2015-17, we had given the policy intervention, as has been pointed out by MEIS, SEIS for merchandise and service, as well as through post and pre-shipment credits. In 2000, the new year, beginning from the January, we have the ROTEP scheme. Along with it, we have Trade Infrastructure for Export scheme, Market Access Initiative scheme, and TMA, that is Transport and Marketing Assistance. Now, these all are working well, and these are actually giving the right fillip and the right policy environment to our exporters. But the second thing, which is more important, is what I call, we are working through two sectors, which we call vertical sector and the horizontal sector. What I mean by vertical and horizontal integration. In the horizontal integration, we are trying to give exports, we are taking the policy measures, which are trying to give our exports the competitive push and the modernization. Now, in the vertical sector, I can say ease of doing business we are improving, which includes ease of doing business in terms of resolve the excessive regulation, documentation simplicity, custom procedures simplicity, policy stability, grievance judicial mechanism. The finance which we are doing is credit availability or rationalization of the cost of credit, or we go to the infrastructure, providing of infrastructure, the PM's push for Gati Shakti in terms of energy, power, fuel, water, availability, disposal, transportation, logistics, communication, waste collection, disposal, R&D, or right quality of education, or in terms of quality benchmarking, which we are doing in terms of HS classification, standard harmonization, in terms of labeling guidelines, or human resources, that is upskilling or right skilling, or the trade promotion in terms of making brand India. And in terms of vertical integration, we are making specific sector-wise policy, like agriculture exports policy, which we are making for the agricultural products, for processed foods, for dairy, for horticulture, or for leather. We are making projects, and we are giving push to every sector. So what we are trying to do is that to our MSME sector, or even to the bigger exporters, we are trying to create a market for them. We are also trying to tell them that there is going to be technological disruption, because 5G has come, cloud has come, artificial intelligence has come. So there is a servicification of manufacturing and vice versa. Today, Uber, Ola do not own even one fleet, but they are the biggest fleet maker. The airport services, the airport fleet will not be owned by the companies. They will hire the services. So the world is completely shifting to a different direction. That hand-holding we are doing to different sectors. We are reaching out to the exporters through export promotion councils, through Apex business councils, and telling them this is the future. This is the way they have to go to modernize themselves. So if we want to reach out to 2 trillion, 1 trillion in services, 1 trillion in manufacturing, about 2025-26, then we have to modernize ourselves, which all of them are doing. We are glad to say.
Right, and also apart from pushing exports, these decisions will also create nearly 62 lakh more jobs, including 2.6 lakh in formal sector. Mr. Senthilnathan, if I can come to you once again, the government will infuse rupees 1,650 crore in a scheme called National Exporters Insurance Account. Can you explain the rationale behind infusion of 1,650 crores into National Exporters Insurance Account, and how this will help the exporters?
This National Export Insurance Account is a trust account created by the Government of India to ensure that the credit risk in respect of project exports or medium long-term exports, which are export of heavy machinery, engineering goods, capital goods, maybe construction of road, railways, and the transportation equipments or city infrastructure in the foreign markets. The repayment for these projects usually takes around 10 years, while the project is done in a period of 3 to 4 years. So you can look at a 15-year credit risk period, and the projects usually involve an amount of at least 1,000 to 1,500 crores in every project, depending on the size. Sometimes it can be more also. So these risks cannot be undertaken by a company like us, which is also regulated by IRDI, and also which needs to comply with certain financial and other prudential norms. And world over, such risks are underwritten by government either in their account straight away, budget account straight away, or it is written in where the guarantee, explicit guarantee is given by the respective government. In India, the Government of India has appropriately thought it fit to establish a separate special purpose vehicle, that is the National Export Insurance Account Trust, and create a grant in aid corpus for the trust. Initially, the government approved that they will contribute 4,000 crores, of which 3,091 crores has come. With this 1,650 crores, the corpus contribution commitment by the government will go up to 4,741 crores. And the government has also authorized the trust to take 20 times the corpus of the trust as an insurance cover capacity or maybe maximum liability. So the trust can underwrite projects worth up to 85,000 crores, 87,000 crores at any time with this approved corpus. So this will help Indian exporters to do multiple projects in the target countries. See, typically in a project exports, we look at least 75% of Indian component in the project value. And 75% means around 33,000 crores project, means around 25,000 crores will be a boost given to the manufacturing within India, which in terms of World Bank study will definitely add to around 2 lakh jobs or 2.6 lakh jobs. And if you see the boost given to ECGC 4,400 crores and 88,000 crores of insurance capacity, which can add additional support, additional exports of 6 lakh crores at the peak capacity per annum, it can create another 59 lakhs jobs in formal as well as informal sector. So this cumulatively will have more than 6 million jobs creating capacity. And in project exports, unlike your short-term exports where the merchandise is purchased and consumed within a period of, repaid within a period of 6 months or 1 year, and also used within a period of 1 year to your ready-made garments and whatever consumable items, as a life of say maximum 1-2 years. Project exports has a life of minimum 20 to 40 years, and successfully executed projects, your railway network executed by Indian companies, or roads constructed by Indian companies, or a housing colony constructed by Indian companies, which has a life of at least 35 to 40 years, will vindicate the quality and capacity of Indian exporters to execute massive projects and also execute it at a competitive cost worldwide, and yield enormous dividend for India and Indian exports in terms of goodwill generated, and it will stand as a testimony to the capacity as well as the quality of our workmanship. So, though the manpower, the jobs created in terms of 1,650 crores is less compared to 4,400 crores to ECGC, the long-term dividend will be equal in both the cases. That is what I feel. This is very timely now. Because in the last, it has taken almost 60 years for a capacity of 1,60,000 crore. In ECGC 1 lakh crore, NEA 60,000 crores, around 60,000 crores to be created. It took last 60,000 crores. With the government approval now, in the next 5 years, 1,20,000 crores capacity on a combined basis will be created. I think that is a tremendous boost to the export sector, and appropriately leveraged, it will give a great support to increasing our exports.
Also, Mr. Saraf, and this additional capital infusion in ECGC and NEIA, by when will the exporters will be able to take the benefit of that?
Well, I think it should not take long. It all depends when the government operationalizes this infusion of capital. The announcement has just been made, but generally it takes maximum about a month or so. So, in a very short time, in 1.5 months, it should be operational and exporters should start taking advantage. I am sure ECGC, under the capable guidance of Mr. Senthilnathan, whom I know quite well, and they would rise to the occasion, and as soon as the funds are available from the government, I am sure they would be ready offering the credit. See, one thing I would like to impress further on what Mr. Senthilnathan just mentioned about the goodwill. See, the project that we are doing, not only it is that particular project, but we are also exporting a lot of Indian products to complete that project, number one. Number two, even later on, for maintenance, for continuous support, our products and services will always be going. So that becomes a kind of royalty, if you say so, that, continuously will get the benefit. If our companies have put up a railway network, then obviously we are the people who would, do the repairing, maintenance, servicing, and spare parts delivery and so on. And that's a sizable amount. That's number one. And number two, it's the goodwill generated, as Mr. Senthilnathan mentioned, is absolutely phenomenal. It showcases our expertise. It helps to even boost other items exports. If we could build a dam or a railway, then naturally we can supply any kind of product. So that kind of comfort the buyers in that particular country will get. And then, of course, the strategic importance, for example, what we did in Afghanistan, the infrastructure work that we did in Afghanistan, is now we are seeing the result of it. Even a ferocious regime like Taliban agrees that yes, India is a good partner and we need them anyway. So that kind of effect our project export has.
Right, Mr. Saraf, very well put up by you, and we are running short of time, just 2-3 minutes left. Dr. Amya Chandra, if you can answer this question. We have seen several relief measures announced by the government in the last few months for the exporters. If I can mention, the government will release rupees 56,027 crore in pending dues to exporters under various export promotion schemes. My question to you is, the idea of course is to give them the much needed relief as we are coming out of the COVID-19 period, and export has been the thrust area of this government. What more do we expect from the government in the coming few months for the exporters?
Few things. One, that 56,000 crores is for all pending scripts, whether it's MEIS, SEIS, Target Plus, that is number one. Number two, that for RoDTEP, which is applicable from 1st January 2021, we have also given approximately 13,000 crores, and it's end-to-end on IT platforms which will be delivered. Third part is that we are now telling our exporter to be futuristic, and that's most important. If I tell you that the clean energy is going to have a market of 120 trillion by 2050, then possibly we will tell them to go for the clean energy. You have seen the crisis which China is facing, being dependent on the fossil energy. Or if we see that, if we see that what 3D printing is changing the entire concept of manufacturing in the world, where a design is executed in China and it's printed in Europe. Or if we see that how the cola or what we call additive manufacturing is changing the world. Now motorcycle is 3D printed, cars are getting 3D printed, aviation industry is getting. So there is a disruptive technology going all around in all sector, whether it's textiles or housing or retail. So we have given 12 champion sector in services, but what we are saying is that they are not confined to service sector only. They are being applicable to all sectors of manufacturing. Today, the world is, for example, moving from the cotton-based manufacturing in textiles, man-made fibers. So how to have more application of man-made fiber in different sectors. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to combine chemistry, engineering, medical, all in one, so that we are able to deliver utility. And if we can able to deliver the utility, then the price doesn't become the important factor. If you get in time, and if you get something value what it's worth of, then possibly it's the most valuable thing. So whether it's a small or the medium or the big exporters, we are basically doing the hand holding to say that it's possible to go many more times than what we have projected if we adopt to the latest technology. And the role of the government becomes most critical as we tell them, we expose them to the world, what is happening in the worldwide, what are the critical, and how to invest in R&D. Most of them expect that the government will invest in R&D. R&D is something where the investment gives them big dividends. So we want India's share to go up in the R&D so that we always stay ahead of the world. So as long as we do not go in manufacturing 4.0, as we say, and services 2.0, where all these technology are being deployed, we would possibly be left behind. And our job is to do the hand to the sector, to take them to the frontier and beyond where the world is leading right now.
Absolutely. Mr. M. Senthilnathan, your final reaction to this, what do we expect in the coming few days?
In the coming few days, we expect our operations to be scaled up much larger, and we will roll out new initiatives to support one district, one product export scheme of the government. And we already have a factoring scheme, non-recourse factoring, where Indian exporters can sell to foreign buyers and then sell their receivables to us. Even if the foreign buyer fails, we will not go back to the exporter. That we will expand the scheme instead of only targeting small exporters. Now we will address medium exporters' needs also, which I feel will help the post-shipment credit, will add to the post-shipment credit capacity in the country and take care of value-added exports and manufactured export goods in much larger way. So you can see new initiatives, and as my colleague as well as Mr. Saraf told, right now we do have capacity and we do take on whatever request comes from exporters. We have not said no to any of the requests of exporters, except when it comes to the risk evaluation metrics, not on capacity constraints. The government has been kind enough to support us with the capital in the past years also. And though we were waiting for this capital, government said, you please go ahead with the insurance cover. It will come. It's a matter of few days, weeks, time mismatch. So we will support, we continue to support.
Absolutely. Mr. Saraf, just quickly, 30 seconds, your final reaction.
As Mr. Senthilnathan has said, we expect ECGC now to rise to the occasion, and we're glad to hear that they are going to support the one district, one product export from the districts also. This is now going to the grassroots of the Indian economy. I think economy as a whole will benefit immensely.
Absolutely, and the country respects and wishes to encourage export and exporters. Credit facilities will become easier and the latest measures and will strengthen the exporters also. Thank you so much gentlemen, for giving us your precious time. Mr. Dr. Amya Chandra, Mr. M. Senthilnathan and Mr. S.K. Saraf. Thank you so much for coming to DD India. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we have in Focus. Stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.